Hedda, my wife, and I've been married for a total of 4 years. At long last, in the third year, God granted us the gift of a child. Then a truth entered my life that ultimately led to my demise. Before we continue with the narrative, make sure you subscribe to our channel by clicking the bell icon. When we first met, that was 4 years ago, at a dental facility. It was a highly unusual circumstance, but perhaps God had predetermined that this would be our fate. Anyway, we arranged to meet there, and I am glad to say that we hit it off. It was not with the intention of falling in love. On the other hand, I once went to a conference on business administration where we both happened to be there. Perhaps it was then that the two of them became attracted to one another, and after a few months they began dating. After a year together, we finally tied the knot, because we both felt that we needed to devote the rest of our lives to one another. From the very beginning, we couldn't have been happier. We don't have any problems such as quarrel or an argument, so don't worry about that. We make the most of our years by traveling quite a bit. I'm able to say that we are the best of friends. Therefore, that was the factor that increased our attachment. We had agreed that after 3 years we would start trying for a baby, and that's exactly what happened. The 9 months of pregnancy are a very important time in a woman's life. The labor was very tough, but with the help of supportive husband, I was able to support her. Now our baby is here and our lives are complete. We are so grateful for the time we have with our little one, in which she had to confront a lot of challenges and endure a lot of pain as a result of the many different physical changes. After our daughter had given birth to our son, she started gaining a lot of weight. Her appearance was deteriorating on a daily basis. She was feeling very insecure, but I encouraged her and supported her. Her best friend Ariana encouraged her to start going to the gym, which was a decision that I supported. I made the decision to send her to the gym, but I was concerned about her health, but Ariana told me that she had a solution for the problem. Because her husband was a trainer, I was already familiar with her spouse. Therefore, she told him that he could train her in the gym. He agreed to help her and provide her with the necessary guidance and tips on how to exercise properly. Ultimately, it was a successful endeavor and she was able to get back in shape and gain her confidence back. My issue was resolved, and as a result, I felt relieved. Now she would have someone else with her. She was also dealing with mental issues, which is not surprising given that pregnancy had a clear impact on the way her personality developed. She was feeling overwhelmed and had been struggling to cope with her new responsibilities. Fortunately, with the help of her trainer, she was able to slowly get back on track. She was able to stay positive and focus on her health and the new life that was growing inside her. After a few short weeks, she began to feel better. Every day when she returned home, she would report on the many forms of physical activity that she had participated in. She explained to me how her friend's husband was helpful to her. She too was filled with joy. The state of her happiness was all that mattered to me. Therefore, I felt joy. I was unable to comprehend the truth that lay behind her happiness. Once I inquired of Hedda regarding whether or not Ariana also went to the gym with her. She did nothing more than shake her head. Once I ran into her in a bookstore. I met Ariana and I asked her how her workout sessions were going. However, she told me that she doesn't go to the gym, and instead she asked me about Hedda's present state of health. I was taken aback by that. I was thinking back to when I had asked Hedda, but she responded by saying that she and Ariana are always together. Ariana explained to me that the training of her classes prevented her from going to the gym, and this was due to a difficult schedule. It took me by surprise. When I approached Hedda about it later that night, she stated that she didn't tell Ariana to go to the gym with her. At that moment, I was perplexed and she indicated this by shaking her head. Anyway, I ignored her. I felt so confused and I couldn't understand why she was so reluctant to go to the gym with her friend. I asked her why, but she didn't answer. I decided to leave the conversation there. When she was getting dressed one day, I noticed that she was wearing her beautiful undergarments. This led me to conclude that she was trying to impress me. I could not help but wonder what had become of her because she always wore them when we were having fun together. I inquired her about what might be wrong with her. She was suddenly overcome with fear and nervousness, and she explained that her other undergarments are filthy, which is why she was wearing the ones that she was currently wearing. Her response was satisfactory, but I was unable to believe. To fathom the source of her anxiety, her physical appearance was improving with each passing day, but there is one more unusual thing that happened. She started going to the gym for 4 hours every day. It occurred in a row 3 times in a row. However, I decided that I should finally ask her about it. When I questioned her, she stated that she has started doing Zumba classes in addition to swimming. Because of this, she needed 4-hour classes to complete it. She said that she was really enjoying it and that it was helping her to stay fit and healthy. We talked a bit more about her classes and then said goodbye. I was happy to see her being so passionate about something. Because I placed a high priority on her physical health, I did not challenge her about it. It was her workout time at the gym. However, I once saw her in a cafe with her trainer while both of them were holding their hands. After I confronted them, they became terrified and her trainer began telling me that she was becoming unhappy, so I took her out for a coffee to cheer her up. He approached her from the side and stated that she requires attention and some time to get better. He suggested that I should let her make her own decisions about what to do. We talked for an hour, and I could see a visible change in her. She seemed happier and confident about her decision. I bring her inside with me to stay at home. I made several attempts to persuade her, but it was clear that her circumstances were not ideal. As a result, I concluded that it was best to give her room to make autonomous choices. Everything was okay on my end until she started turning down the opportunity to have physical intercourse with me, and that bothered me. Even though I was her spouse, she never wanted to have sexual relations with me and would do anything to avoid me. It seemed absurd to me. Simply put, I was putting up with her. After some time, though, I came to the conclusion that it would be best for her to see a psychiatrist for treatment. Once more, she decided not to go there. Her activities were getting worse. It was growing difficult to deal with her. She began to forget things, but she never ran late for her workouts at the gym or her other classes, including Zumba and swimming. I knew something had to be done and that it was up to me to take the initiative. I made the call and scheduled an appointment with a psychiatrist for her. She disagreed to go. I was very concerned about how she was doing. There was the time when her sister contacted me and informed me that she was sick. I immediately called her, but she did not pick up the phone. On the other hand, when I reached the gym, I learned that she and the trainer had left the gym almost an hour ago. When I asked them, "Is Zumba classes are finished?" they stated that there are currently no Zumba classes being held. I immediately asked them where the swimming lessons are located. They claimed that there was no swimming pool there at all. Everything that was going on was giving me anxiety, especially the recent events. I called her finally, and when she answered the phone, I asked her where she was and she didn't answer. She reported that she was at the gym. My body became numb and my thoughts immediately went to the question of why she was being dishonest with me. Then I inquired of her as to the reason why she was avoiding picking up my mobile phone. She stated that she was occupied with her workout. I wanted to know if she was still going to the same gym or if she had switched. She said she was in the same gym. When I asked her about it, I realized that she was lying to me. I inquired her as to the time she would arrive at our house. She inquired about what had taken place. She looked away and avoided answering my question. I knew she was hiding something from me. I already said to her that your sister is ill. What did she say? I responded with yes, and asked if you wanted me to pick you up as I was going to be in the neighborhood of your gym. She replied that there was no need and there was no need for her to come to manage. After that, I go back to my house. While we were traveling, my mind was racing with questions about what it was that she was doing. After that, I had the idea that I ought to follow her. It seemed like a fantastic plan to me. I then followed her to the gym the next day, but when I saw that she was working out as usual, I began to wonder if the previous day was the only time she'd lied to me. After I got back to my house, I decided that I would confront her with the question of why she had lied to me. Then later that day, after being gone for 3 hours, she returned home. It was beginning to slip through my fingers. The following day, I followed her out of the gym and waited outside to observe where she went every day after the gym. I observed Hedda and her trainer entering the vehicle together. It came as a shock to me when I followed them as they checked into a hotel. It turned out to be a terrible experience to me. I had many of my bones broken. At the same time, I started worrying about what would happen today, as well as my child might suffer in the future as a result of this incident. I was driving home when I had all of these thoughts. Then I had the realization that I could not just let her go like this, and that I needed to take action that would make her life a living nightmare. If I was to simply divorce her, she would go on with her life, but both she and the trainer would not learn from their mistakes. So I hatched a plan. At home, I was conducting myself in the usual manner, as if absolutely nothing had taken place. The following day, while I was at home by myself, I decided to have Ariana a call. I rationalized my behavior by claiming that I needed to demonstrate something to her. I offered her some water when she arrived. Water had sleeping tablets. After consuming water, I slept. I led her to the bedroom and helped her get into the bed. I lied next to her and took a few pictures while we were in an intimate position together. Then I made her remove her shirt. However, I did not act inappropriately towards her in any way. I left the room and sent all the photos to my laptop. Because I acted out of fear, I thought that by doing so I would be able to make her awake, but she wasn't getting up because of sleeping pills effect. After a period of 2 hours, she stood up. I started by telling her that she became unconscious, and then I dialed the number for the doctor. After some time, she got up and departed. It was the middle of the night when Hedda was sound asleep, so I took up her mobile phone and emailed those pictures along with a caption to the trainer that I am completely unaware of the fact that your wife is a whore. The trainer arrived at home the following morning and immediately began to berate her. This occurred on the following day. He started by inquiring as to where she had observed those images from. However, she did not have a clue. I attempted to talk some sense into him. However, she used the fact that he had only a few intimate pictures and videos of her with him to blackmail her. If she did not tell her who had given her those images, he would spill the beans about everything. Then the G came into the play. You will harvest exactly what you plant. It was actually me who was in bed with your wife. You must have been distressed, right? Consider the times when you've shared your bed with someone else's spouse. He too had a horrible feeling. Get out of my house at this point. When he started fighting with me, I decided to contact the police for help instead. After all of this has transpired, I allowed Hedda a few minutes to get ready to go. She implored me for not letting her go. However, I was certain that this was the solution for all my problems and that it was the only option available to me. I ordered her to leave the house. I divorced her and now she is going through the ringer. In addition, I am now the legal guardian of our child. Now that I am by myself, I am content, because I have no reason to believe that anyone could ever betray my trust. But I have learned my lesson. I'll never blindly trust anyone again. I'll be more cautious and take the time to get to know someone before putting my trust in them.